Hello and welcome back to Hypertension. Last episode we talked about how making positive lifestyle changes can reduce the adaptation of hypertension, such as not smoking, not overusing alcohol, reducing stress and physical activity. So, if the thought of your next exam, upcoming assignment deadline, or workplace sickie is giving you some stress, then you might need to reconsider how it might affect your health. But now, on to nutrition. According to the World Health Organization, Nutrition Australia and the Heart Foundation, 1.15 to 2.3 grams of salt is recommended per day, which has functional uses such as fluid regulation and, you guessed it, blood pressure regulation. But the average Australian consumes a whopping 10 grams instead, even though the maximum intake level is recommended as 6 grams. But what if you're conscious about your salt intake levels and perhaps avoid excessively salty foods? Could you still have a high intake level? And where does this salt come from? Well, you don't have to actually add salt into your foods to be eating too much. Most of the foods you consume already have salt added into them, such as bread, cereals, and processed foods. Processed foods often contain sodium glutamate, otherwise known as MSG, and sodium nitrate, which is a salt additive mostly used in your cured meats for preservation and taste. Now let's have a look at the quantities of salt in your everyday foods, like the ingredients in this salami sandwich for lunch. The wheat bread contains 468 milligrams of sodium per 100 grams. Here the salami contains 717 milligrams of sodium per 50 grams. The cheddar cheese contains 665 milligrams of sodium per 50 grams, which is 2 slices. And the mayo contains 70 milligrams in 1 tablespoon. You have just consumed 1,920 milligrams of sodium in one sitting. To figure out the amount of salt from sodium, just use this equation, where salt equals the amount of sodium in milligrams multiplied by 2.5 divided by 1,000. According to this equation, you've just consumed 4.8 grams of salt. Remember how 2.3 grams was the recommended intake level? You've already consumed above this, and that doesn't even take into account other potentially high sodium foods in your day-to-day diet. Foods such as bacon, cheese, pickles, olives, pasta sauces, tomato sauces, soy sauce, crisps, sausages, yeast extracts, stock cubes, just to name a few, and all of which can add up to your total salt intake. But don't look so scared. There's an easy way to keep track of salt in your everyday diet just by using the sodium conversion equation. But it's easy to see how the everyday person can unknowingly consume excessive salt even while conscious of their intake. And remember, when reading your nutrition facts, be sure to keep track of how much is considered to be a serving size, because the amount you consume and the data provided can be vastly different. So, 1.5 grams of sodium or more per 100 grams means high in salt. 0.3 grams of sodium or less per 100 grams means low in salt. And that's a good thing. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about the relationship between hypertension and pregnancy.